Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of From the Bench to the Mic. I'm your host, Jonathan Holmes. I know we haven't done one in a minute. Again, life's just been busy, so I want to give you guys a quick little recap of Saturday. Happy March! We're finally here, man. We've got the best time of year coming up. March Madness, of course, and then leading into what I think is the best run of sports in during the year. So we'll get right into it. I know we haven't done very much of it. Look at this, got a little mic, so we've upgraded a little bit, which is kind of fun. Instead of doing the AirPods, but we've got a few teams that have just set themselves cream of the crop in the country here. You got Michigan, Duke, UConn, and Arizona. These four teams have really separated themselves. Now, I think Florida is definitely on its way up. They're probably the fifth best team in the country right now, but we'll go through each of their games and just give a quick little breakdown of the huge wins that they were able to pick up this week/weekend. And I want to give you guys my top three seeds. I'm sorry, so top, I guess, 12, 1 through 3. Just want to give you guys that and some thoughts on what I think is going to be showcasing the tournament. Really excited for it. So without further ado, man, let's get right into it. Starting out, Michigan puts an absolute statement out there against Illinois. In the State Farm Center, I personally picked Illinois to win this game. I thought Illinois was going to come out and be a little bit more aggressive, shoot some more threes, make some more threes, but they couldn't really get anything going, and that was a huge testament to Michigan's defense. They've really Dusty May has really had Michigan playing with pride on the defensive end. I know they've been trying to have the number one defense in the country pretty much all year. They've been a top 10 defense for majority of the year. If not, they've been number one, I believe, at times during the season. But they really put on a defensive clinic against Illinois on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Friday. So I was a little disappointed in how Illinois came out. I was expecting them to come out and get a huge win and really give Michigan a run for their money in the Big Ten title race for the regular season. But Morez Johnson had something else on his mind, man. He said, "Hey, we need to clinch this tonight. Let's get this over with, so we don't need to worry about the one seed anymore." So he came out so strong against his former team, had a double-double of 19 points and 11 boards. He was magnificent, and he's really I've been saying it all year, but he's my X factor for Michigan. And if they want to go to a national championship and win one, Morez Johnson has to be there and has to be extremely solid for him. And 1911 is exactly what you want in one of your role guys in Morez Johnson. He is an absolute beast. He cooked at Illinois last year. I was sad to see him go. I really wanted him to stick around with the Fighting Illini, especially with who they had coming in and all the transfers, the international players. Keaton Wagler, of course. We didn't really know about him then, but I can't even imagine what those two would be doing if they were on the same team together. But Morez has been phenomenal. Yaxel played great. Yaxel had 16.7 boards. But what I was most impressed with was the ability for him to guard Keaton Wagler for most of the game. And I was shocked by this. Dusty May decided to go to his best player, and he said, "Hey, you've got Illinois' best guy tonight. Let's get after them defensively. Let's mix it up. Give him something that maybe he hasn't seen necessarily yet before. Going up against a quote 5-man the entire game. Wagler had 23, but it was a very ineffective 23. Sorry if you guys see the red light coming. I'm watching Ohio State Purdue, but Wagler's 23 was just not an effective 23. If that makes sense for all you basketball junkies, you know what I mean. He was scoring in just very small spurts throughout the game. Didn't really seem to have any meaningful impact on the score. But nonetheless, when you still have 23 against the number 1, number 2 team in the country, still impressive. But Yaxel, I thought, did a great job guarding Wagler, really giving him some different looks. Michigan really got after each other, or really got after Illinois on the defensive end, which was scary to see. Especially coming off of the Duke loss. I was really thinking that they were going to maybe come out a little bit more flat than what they did, but they flipped it around like that. And again, super impressive for the Wolverines. They were dominant inside. The Ivisic brothers, they couldn't stand a chance against Ademara, Yaxel, Morez Johnson. I mean, that three right there, that three-headed monster is just going to be so tough for teams to match up against. I mean, we've seen it all year, of course. We've got the sample size, but in the tournament, they've got great guards. Elliot Cadeau, Xavier McKinney. They got great guards. Don't get me wrong. LJ Kaysen, losing him to the I've heard they lost him to the season. That's a huge blow in my opinion. But when you've got a front line like that, similarly to Florida, you've got a brick wall like that, man. That is going to be such a tough out for any team in March. I mean, especially from a one-time perspective. I mean, teams can get cold from three, get hot from three, but gosh, those three dudes, man, they're bad men, and they come in and they impose their will. It's incredible. So I mean, the recipe to beat Michigan is you got to be able to shoot the long ball. You got to be able to make threes and turn them over. That's the recipe to beat Michigan. Unless you're a Duke, unless you're probably in Arizona, um, you've got to be able to make threes, and you've got to make a plethora of them. So Michigan wins the regular season title. I really was hoping Illinois could get the share, but they'll cruise probably until about the last game of the season. They got Michigan State to wrap things up here in a couple weeks and get into the Big Ten tournament as the one seed. Would not shock me if they lost to the Michigan to watch lost to Michigan State. Words are tough now. Now that all I'm thinking is hoops, so it wouldn't shock me if they lost to Sparty at the end of the year, just from they've kind of checked out, getting ready for the postseason standpoint. But Michigan is just looking so strong. I mean, I saw that Friday, and I'm like, who's better than these dudes, man? I mean, they're playing excellent ball right now. I mean, Arizona, Duke, Iowa State, UConn. I mean, you got all these squads that are just magnificent. But then I turned the game on. I turned the TV on Saturday. I'm watching Duke, Virginia, and Duke just destroys Virginia at home. So I'm like, who's better than these dudes? And then and then later that night, Florida beats Arkansas by almost 40. And I'm like, Florida's probably the best team in the country right now. And not to mention that the Arizona clinic that they put on Kansas at home. I mean, those four plus UConn. UConn had a tough one against Seton Hall, but they destroyed St. John's in the midweek this past week. So there's 5 teams in my opinion that can win the whole thing. There's a few that if they got hot, they could definitely get it done. I'll go through those guys here in a little bit, but yeah, Michigan looks so strong. I'm impressed with them. Duke again. We'll dive into Duke here in just a moment, but yeah, 5 teams I think can win it. That's probably going to be about it. But yeah, let's dive into the Duke Virginia game. Duke just been so impressive. Cam Boozer, I don't understand why he's not getting the love. I mean, he's getting love, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why he's not getting the player of the year love that he should deserve. He's got the highest KenPom rating for a national player of the year ever at a 2.98. I believe it's out of 3. 3 is almost perfect. He scored double digits in every game this year. He leads the ACC in points and rebounds. No Duke player has done that since Marvin Bagley. Actually, I don't think any player has done it since Marvin Bagley did it at Duke back in like 2018 or so. Held Virginia to a season low 51, and Virginia still is winless in Cameron Indoor. So from a betting perspective, I took Duke minus 9.5. They were favored by I think 13. Took them at 9.5, thinking that they could give them a couple extra points, but I mean, they just put on a clinic against the Cavaliers. And Virginia, number 11 in the country, it's not a bad team to be going against. I mean, they're very fundamentally sound. Ryan Odom is doing a phenomenal job over in Charlottesville, Virginia, doing just such a great job so far. I mean, he's in his 4th season, and they're already a top 15 team. Playing a little bit different ball than what Tony Bennett did, but it's working for the Virginia Cavaliers, man. They're going to be a scary team in March. I think that's one of those teams that they can get it figured out and figured out from the 3-point line, make some shots. They're very great. They're great on defense. Yeah, they could be a team that could make an Elite 8, Sweet 16, kind of be a quote Cinderella story. So Duke, just overall strong performances by Isaiah Evans. He had 19 points. Pat Gungba had 11 and 5. He and Caleb Foster with 5 points, 6 rebounds, which I thought was great. And then he had a game high six assists, which, in my opinion, you have Cam Boozer. Yes, if you're Duke, you have Cam Boozer. What's going to set them over the top is Caleb Foster, Isaiah Evans, and Caden Boozer. If they can play at the elite level that I know that they can, that I've seen them do, that's how they're going to win the national championship. If those guys don't show up to play, it's not going to work. I love what Shire has been doing with his roster construction. People, in the day of all the transfer portal and all that jazz, it's interesting because he didn't bring in any transfers. He's stuck with his guns with the people he had last year: Gongba, Caleb Foster, Isaiah Evans. I mean, even Darren Harris. He doesn't play a ton. Malik Brown, and then you fill in with Caden Boozer, Cam Boozer, Nick Kamina. You bring Dame Sarr. You bring in all these guys and plug and play. It's great. I mean, it's worked out super well. It's been incredible. They seem to really they don't really have any holes. The only holes that they may have is defensively if they get in foul trouble, and then if they turn the ball over. Those are really only the two things that I can see getting in the way of Duke in the national championship. So we've got an NCAA auction coming up. I would love to live stream it for y'all. It's where we put all 64 teams on a wheel. We spin it. Everybody wagers, bring in $25, and that's awesome. I get into a little auctioneer mode, get flying around. We're spitting some facts, spitting some game, talking ball. Me and the boys just getting after it, betting on teams, and not really betting, but buying teams. And what's fun is the farther your team makes it, the more money you can make back on that team. So if I were to buy Arkansas for $10, the way that we have it set out is if they win a round of 64 game, you get $2 back. If they win a round of 32 game, you get $3 back. So that's $5 total. And then if you win a Sweet 16 game, you get $5, and then you get $10, and then $20. So that's all the way to the Final Four. So you get $20 if you win a Final Four game, and if you win the national championship, you get the rest of the pot. So very, very fun idea. If you're listening to this, take that idea and run with it. I mean, it is so great. I think it's personally better than filling out a bracket. All the boys, we've got 12 guys that get after it, and everybody's loved it. 100% positive feedback. So I really recommend it if you got a group of guys that you like talking ball with and they love college basketball, dude, take it and go, man. If you want to link to my spready, let me know. I'll get you set up with that, and we'll be good to go from there. You'll be good to go from there. So it explains all the rules and it's got all the equations and stuff. Piece of cake. So we've talked Michigan, we've talked Duke. Let's talk UConn. Absolute annihilation of St. John's on, I think it was on Tuesday. I believe it was on Tuesday. I don't have the final score pulled up, but UConn's creeping, man. Lurking. They've been hanging around Dan Hurley. They took an ugly, ugly loss to Creighton a few weeks ago, but you hold St. John's, who isn't great offensively, isn't great. I would say they're okay. They missed their last 24 field goals of the game. Man, I could roll out there with my boys right now and probably not miss 24 shots in a row. But huge testament to UConn's defense and how they were able to make it just so uncomfortable for the Red Storm. What's his name? Bryce Hopkins. Gosh, sorry, I blanked a little bit. Bryce Hopkins, transfer from Providence, one of the premier scorers in the Big East, just was uncomfortable the entire time. They were throwing doubles at him, throw a triple at him when he gets into the paint. Ejiofor couldn't get things going. They're banging bodies, getting physical. Dylan Mitchell couldn't get things going. Ian Jackson, just non-factor. So UConn, they outscored St. John's 42-12 in the paint as well. So that just shows you how physical the Huskies can be and how they can beat you in the paint like that. Taurus Reed, let's just run it through there. Taurus Reed had 20 and 11. He also had 6 blocks. Just defensive clinic. Alex Caravan, of course, he's got his staple 14-5. That's what every time I see UConn's box score, that's what I see. I see Alex Caravan, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 20 points, 3 rebounds. He's a stat stuffer and he's very consistent. It was pretty emotional watching him and Dan Hurley on his senior day. That was pretty cool to see because I know how much he's meant to the UConn Husky program. Solo ball, 11 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. And then you had Silas Demery, who had 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's got a triple double on the year, by the way. So I keep your sports book open on Silas Demery to have a triple double in the tournament. That would not be an awful bet. He's already got one this year. But UConn, I think that they're playing just as well as anybody in the country. They had a tight one against Villanova on Saturday, but it's the Big East. It's always going to be tight no matter what. So I love UConn, love Dan Hurley. They've got a lot of great stuff going on. Now, for the final 1 seed, I'm going through my 1 seeds. I'm just giving you a little prelude to what I'm about to talk through for the tournament. Arizona, Braden Burries, guys are goated. Arizona is a wagon. And again, I know I keep saying that, but that's just how these dudes are. That's just how these teams are. They're wagons. There's not much you can do about it unless you come out and you scorch it from 3 ball. There's not much you're going to be able to do against these teams. They're just so well rounded. They're so balanced. They're great defensively. They rebound well. They check all the boxes. They play at a great tempo. They can beat you in the half court. They can beat you in the full court. It's tough. It's going to be tough for a lot of these smaller schools to get an upset this year, especially as a 1 seed. But yeah, let's go through the Arizona-Kansas game. I was so impressed with Braden Burries, another freshman, right? Now, we talk all year long about these freshmen, how well that they've played. Braden Burries, I think, is still flying under the radar. You have Koa Pete, who did really well. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. But Braden Burries, 20 points, 12 boards, 5 dimes as a guard against Kansas like that. Kansas got big guards and Trey White, Melvin Council, and you got a big dude like Badunga, Darren Peterson. I mean, he came. Bryson Tiller is no joke. He came to play, man. He came to hoop, and he did. So I was impressed with Braden Burries. Arizona ended up getting the win, 84-61. Just steamrolled Kansas at home. This Arizona team's scary to me. I think they have a perfect balance of the athletic ability, youth, veterans, and their coach is great. Tommy Lloyd is awesome. Tommy Lloyd, he's getting it figured out. I think he's in year 4 with the Wildcats. He's getting it rolling. But you've got experience with Jaden Bradley and Tobe Awaka. You've got experience there. You've got elite freshmen in Braden Burries and Koa Pete. You've got the international guys in Krivas, Karchakov, studs, and you have a vet coming off the bench in Del Orso, who's playing phenomenal hoops right now. He only had 9 the other night, but his last 4 games, I think he's averaging 20 plus. He's cooking off the bench. Who originally was a starter. He was a starter last year for that Arizona Wildcat team. But when you have a freshman class come in like this, you're probably going to be taking a back seat. And so he swallowed his pride, which was awesome, and he's been rolling ever since. So very impressive win for the Wildcats here. Just no holes again. Another team that's not crazy deep. Okay, I look at their squad. Foul trouble may be a problem for them. If Cole Pete, they're big guys. If Tobe Awaka, if they end up getting in foul trouble, that might be the key to beat Arizona. You got to get them up and aggressive early, get them in foul trouble, get to the free throw line, and I think that's where you stand a chance because they only play 8. I mean, a lot of teams, you have that 9th guy that you can come in and play, but they play 8, and all their guys they play heavy minutes. So that's a team to kind of watch. That's kind of what to watch out for Arizona in the tournament. But they really haven't ran into foul trouble all year, so it would shock me if they did come tournament time with how disciplined they are. All right, now last but certainly not least, I'm gonna go through my 1 seeds, my 2 seeds, and my 3 seeds. Okay, my 1 seeds, y'all already know. I've talked about them the entire show. Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn. I think those are solidified. Only team that probably can move in is Florida, which leads me into my 2 seeds with Florida, Iowa State, Houston, Illinois. Florida is playing just as good as all those 1 seeds right now and currently. Going into SEC tournament, they're going to be one of the hottest teams in the country. Thomas Howell is playing phenomenal ball. Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan. I know I'm wearing my hog shirt, but Boogie Flan, he's been playing he's been playing better. Not super well. He's been playing better. You've got their front line of Alex Condon. I mean, of course, Thomas Howell's a part of that. Ruben Chinyelu. I mean, that Florida's a great matchup for Michigan, in my opinion, with just how their front court and their back court stand out. That would be a fun national championship. I think both teams love to get after it, play up tempo. I think that'd be a cool one. So Florida, they're a 2 seed right now for me. I think that they could slide into a 1 if UConn were to slip up a little bit. Florida keep going. I think that that's how they can slide in there. Iowa State. Iowa State's playing great. Unfortunately, took a loss to Texas Tech this weekend, which was shocking, not having JT Toppin. Mom Klilovich has been great. They've Joshua Jefferson. He's been a stud for them. But Hilton Magic couldn't come through for him this past weekend. So that was a bummer to see. But Iowa State, they're on the 2 seed line for me. They can definitely make a run. I don't know if they're national champion caliber, but I think that they can make a run and of course get to a Final Four. Houston, another Big 12 team on the 2 line for me. Kingston Flemings, Manuel Sharp, Chris Sinak. I think that they've there's not much explanation there. They're a hard nosed team. They should definitely get back to an Elite Eight. And then Illinois right there is on the 2 seed for me. I was stuck between them and Michigan State. I took Illinois. I think that they probably some bias there. Let's be honest. There's probably some bias there. But Keaton Wagler, great. David Mirkovic, great. Stojakovic getting back. I mean, that team, Illinois, fully healthy. I think that they can beat any of these teams on any given night. But I also think that they can lose by about 30 to any of these teams on any given night, solely depending on the 3-point land. If they can make shots, they're a very, very tough team to beat. So I watched them 2 weekends ago against UCLA. UCLA, I think, shot about 75, 80% in the second half to keep up with Illinois' pace. Ended up working out well for them, getting a W in OT, but Illinois is, I think there's a stat out there. I don't know exactly for a fact, but I believe that they have the best, highest rating offense in KenPom history, which is so impressive to me, considering how great of offenses we've seen come through the last 20 years. So Illinois is an interesting team. Very fun to watch. They're also very frustrating to watch. If you're from my hometown, they're very frustrating to watch as well. So we'd love to see Illinois get back to it. And then my 3 seeds, I put this together last night, but I had Gonzaga. After losing to St. Mary's, I could totally see them sliding to a 4, maybe sliding in Virginia here, which I'm actually going to do. I'm going to put Virginia, but I'm not going to have them take Gonzaga spot. I'm going to go Gonzaga, Nebraska, Michigan State, and Virginia as a 4 seed. Had Purdue originally, but I am out on the Boilermakers. They have been so inconsistent, in my opinion. I know home record doesn't necessarily matter when the tournament because you're playing on a neutral site, but horrible at home this year. Mackey Arena has been a place where you can walk into the trap and take it over. No there's no guards, nothing going on in West Lafayette. So I'm gonna put Virginia there because I like Ryan Odom a lot. I heard him talk on game day just before their matchup with Duke, and just he comes from an awesome coaching tree. I think he's got great experience. He's a phenomenal dude. So give me Virginia on that 3 line, along with Michigan State, Nebraska, and Gonzaga. Gonzaga is an interesting one. We'll go through them real quick. Gonzaga is an interesting one with Graham Ike and Braden Huff. Lost to St. Mary's last night, unfortunately, but Braden Huff did not play, which I thought was interesting. Their guard play, Adam Miller, Tyon Grant Foster. Those 2 dudes, they have to be X factors for the Bulldogs if they want to make a run in the tournament. Because great guard play, that's what wins you in March. So if they can get good, decent play out of their guards, I think Graham Ike is such a beast that he could probably single-handedly carry them. But again, got to have great guard play. Nebraska, they have great guard play. Sam Hoiberg, Jamarcus Lawrence. You have what's his name in Price Stanford. You got Braden Frogger. You got some studs over there. So Nebraska, I think that they'll be just fine. Never have won an NCAA tournament game, but I think that they can get to an Elite Eight. Michigan State, nothing said. It's Izzo's month in March, and then Virginia, of course, just talked through them. So those are my 1 through 3 seeds. I don't really want to go through 4 through 16 just because that's going to take forever, and anything can happen over the next couple weeks here. So, but I think that those top 12, I think those are pretty solidified in my opinion. I don't really know if anybody else can really slide in there, but those are my top 12 in my opinion. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up my show. Congrats. Hey, wait, hang on. Congrats to Miami, Ohio. Bro, 29-0. Undefeated regular season. Let's freaking go, man. I love that. I love that for the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. They, if they were to slip up in the MAC tournament and the committee were to leave them out, I would be so disappointed. Yes, I know their resume is not great, but their wins above bubble is solid. Their strength of record, solid. And you got to just be a good human here, right? Be a good human. You go 29-0. There's like 5 other teams that have done that in recent memory. And you're just going to leave them out because they lost one, because they have one blemish in a postseason tournament. I think that would be very disrespectful. I think that would show that mid-majors do not matter. But I have the utmost confidence that if Miami, Ohio were to slip up, then they should make the tournament, still make the tournament, get an at-large bid. But we'll see what the committee thinks. It would be very disappointing if they don't. So, but it's also interesting that Miami is going to get a 10 seed. They're probably going to get like an 8, 9, or a 10 seed, which is going to be interesting. It probably should be at least a 6. I would think if you go 29-0, I'm not on the committee. I also don't think that they're better than a lot of probably the 6 seeds that are going to be there. But you got to reward them at some point. I know you gave them the ranking, but I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing. That'll be a fun one to see on Selection Sunday. But okay, now that I had to give them a shout out, you can't just leave them hanging. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Smash that like button, smash the comment button, leave some comments, give me your thoughts on what you think it's going to end up happening in the tournament this year. I'm going to be all in on Duke. Everybody knows that. As I wear my Arkansas shirt, I'm going to be all in on Duke. I love them. I think they're great. And then, give me that subscribe button, man. Share it out with your friends. Let's if you want my spreadsheet for my for the NCAA auction, hit me up and we'll go from there. So appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Have an awesome week. Peace.